Hi, welcome. I'd like to talk about my project, which I call the Maze. Um, I'd like to first present to you how I conceptualized this project. First of all, it combines three aspects of learning that can be carried out on Second Life. First of all, as a biology teacher, I want to construct an educational sim in my content area. So on SL, there are some places that offer scientific experiences at the tertiary level, such as Genome Island. However, I want to develop something that can be used by people that will not require that much content background and also incorporate the uniqueness of learning um, on SL. My role in creating the sim will be to provide scaffolding for the virtual learning experience. I do not want to reconstruct real world instructional design and planning paradigms, but rather I want to create a sim that will allow avatars to be in action while going through virtual hands on and minds on learning experiences. So, as for the project itself, uh, in terms of topic, I decided to utilize the model of a maze to learn more about meta learning and behavior. This theme relates to three major disciplines: neuroscience, cognitive psychology, and virtual learning. In real life biology classes, modeling experiments using mazes to explore spatial learning and neurobiology are carried out with the use of paper. Students are asked to finish maze puzzles and to time themselves afterwards. They then compare the results of the multiple trials and make conclusions about learning based on the paper based modeling experiment. The school experiment is based on actual experiments on mazes done by scientists with animals such as mice. In this project, I want to create a sim that will allow the avatar to go through an actual maze and become virtually part of the modeling experiment itself. In effect, the avatar participates in a virtual social experiment, thus becoming both the researcher and the researched. In terms of components, uh, think of this as not all physical parts because two can be actually virtual or philosophical. So the main thing is the maze itself. So I will build a small maze that the avatar can physically move through. And at the same time, I believe that there's a need for scaffolding. Well, I won't call it a learning center, but a set of instructional objects. Let's say, like the samples I have on the wall, like you have a box and there's like instructions in the form of notes, links, and landmarks and teleport functions. So it could be incorporated into the maze itself, or it could be done separately depending on what we can do in terms of area and design. And then the third part would be external to the sim, which will include links to both SL and non SL sites that the avatar can go to. So links to the SL Maze sites also serve to facilitate the SL virtual experience and allow the avatar to carry out the modeling experiment in more complex mazes. So in terms of the learning center, or I well, not don't think of learning center as necessarily a set space like this, but it could be just a compilation of instructional objects, mainly slideshow, which would talk about the content area, which is spatial learning and neurobiology, and then part of it would be some objects with content information, and then also scaffolding objects, basically how to's, and then external links, which could be in the form of pop up, like what Ayo said, links to outside websites or teleporting within within Second Life. All right. So this is an example of some SL maze sites. Oh, the third one was really very difficult and a little bit disorienting to go through. Okay, in terms of design questions, my main question is about space. So, well, depending on what I'm allowed to do, I could put it together like this. The thing with some of the scaffolding objects for the maze, it has to go um, space wise before entering the maze, because otherwise, uh, oh, you can't hear me? Uh, I'll just give you a note card later if you can't hear me. Okay, so or this could be a story structure, 10 by 10, like the size of this presentation area, but on two levels. Or it could be one would be on the ground and the other would be sky platform. So it really depends. So in terms of my work schedule, this is basically it, but it's flexible. I could start with the maze first before the learning center, but I think like based on my work style, it's easier for me to do the content first before the physical structure. Besides, the maze is like sort of straightforward in terms of construction. Okay, thanks for listening. Any questions, comments?